Hey guys, today I've got something really cool to share with you. I've got an episode of QI from 2005. It was aired in 2005, and it's funny because I remember this from when it was first aired. I saw it when it was first aired, so it was in 2005, so that was 11 years ago. So I would have been 14. Yeah. So I saw this when it was first aired, and it was weird because it was one of those things that stuck out to me. It was like a glitch in the Matrix, as I call it now. So like in the Matrix, when you see two cats, it's like deja vu. That was to signify, or that did signify a glitch in the Matrix, and um, sometimes when I was still, I call it asleep, but whatever you want to call it, back when I was just, going through life, not really knowing what was going on, this stuck out, and it didn't jive with me, and it definitely stuck in my head for a little while. So, take a quick look at the clip, and then we'll talk about it after.
In the Middle Ages, what shape did people think the world was?
Flat.
I know we all think they did, but there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever. They all thought it was round. They all wrote about it as round. The Greeks knew that it was round.
Round and flat?
No,
round.
they thought it was a sphere. Terry Jones, the Python, who is something of a medievalist, as you may know, he blames Washington Irving, the American writer, for one of those being who started this lie, as he puts it. The Greeks knew it was round, he says. Chaucer knew it was round. Roger Bacon wrote about the curvature of the Earth in the 13th century. So, apparently...
Well, I think the majority of people didn't really care.
No, but they started.
As indeed, we don't now actually care that it's round. If it was square, it wouldn't bother me. I'd rush to the edge. In fact, I'd want to go right to the corner.
You sit on the corner.
How do we know it's round?
Yeah, huh?
Round the world tickets.
One is photographing. Photographing it was a very big help. We took a photograph and we saw that it was
Yes,
round.
but then you could say that about anything about people going to the moon, and we know they didn't.
If it weren't round, all the flights of aeroplanes, if it weren't round, just nothing that we...
How do we know they just don't fly, just circle round for a bit and let you think that you're going miles and miles and miles and just come down, like, a couple of hours away, and they've set Russia up a lot nearer than it is?
It's a really, 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 really long oblong shape.
On a track, like an electric bike, and they
We
just move it.
whizzing
The
round.
plane goes up, the plane doesn't move. They move the country in front of them.
Are all the stars round?
I can't answer that. I think probably most...
But yet you know what people thought 500 years ago.
Can I read books? Yes. Have I visited every star in the universe? No. Is that something that you find difficult to understand? You set me off. You've set Sir off again.
Don't you think that this series has reached the point, with a dedicated following who trust us, that this would be the point where you could say just one thing in a show? You could say, just like this, the world isn't round. It's been proven. Most people will now believe it who watch this show.
Well, I can say with some confidence, ladies and gentlemen, the world is not round. It is an oblate spheroid.
No, that's not what I meant.
No, I'm sorry. I was being literally...
Pine cone. If you'd said the world is shaped like a pine cone. Just to see how many letters we get.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? Get some at last, anyway. Apart from the... well, you know who you are, don't you? And I tried it, and it was a disaster. Yes, no, since the 4th century BC, almost no one in the history of the world has believed that the Earth is flat. It's a common misconception, and indeed the song lyric, they all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. But he didn't think that the world was round. He thought it was actually pear-shaped, funnily enough.
Alright, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd be interested to know how many of you guys saw this when it first aired, or if you've seen it since then, or how many of you know of this clip, because QI, I think, was a British show, and I saw it because I lived in the UK, but I'd be interested to know how many of you guys, because I know most of you are from the US and non-England, basically, so let me know. So it started off with, how do we know it's round? And it's the classic, it's the photograph that really helped, yeah. And then one of the guys in return says, well, there was photographs of the moon landing, but we know we didn't go there, which was pretty funny. Completely didn't address the moon landing hoax, just skated right over that. That was pretty funny. And then he goes on to say that the reason that the Earth is round is because airplanes wouldn't work on a flat Earth, which is interesting because 11 years later now flat earthers are saying airplanes wouldn't work on a round Earth. So that's fun. Then he's asked, are all the stars round? And he responds, I think probably mostly. Which is just great. And then in response to another thing, he says, can I read books? Yes. Have I visited every star? No. Man, it's just funny to see. And then Rich Hall goes on to say that if it was said on the show that the Earth was, say, a pine cone, that the majority of people, the majority of their audience would believe it. And this is just great because the pine cone, it's Masonic, it's a Masonic symbol. It's a very obvious Masonic symbol as well. It's very prevalent in things like the Vatican and stuff. So I think it's definitely not a coincidence that he said it was shaped like a pine cone. And then he said that the majority of people would believe it based purely on the fact that QI is supposed to be truth. It's supposed to be giving you knowledge. So, but it also kind of talks about the mind control of it, that somebody's beliefs can be changed that quickly just by somebody on TV stating something else. And then he even says that people, what did he say? That somebody thought it was pear-shaped, funnily enough. And that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist, and even been called a super scientist on TV, he says it's a pear-shaped Earth. And yet, on QI 11 years ago, they stated it was an oblate spheroid. So, just amazing. And then, yeah, throughout the whole thing, they're stating that it's a common misconception that even people believe the Earth is flat. Well, I got something to tell you. 11 years later, it's not a misconception. More people than ever believe the Earth is flat. And yeah, there's a couple other things in this clip. I think if you watch this clip maybe 2-3 times, you're gonna notice that every time the main guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head just now, but he looked very nervous when he was stating things about the shape of the Earth. He did a few things with his hands and just things in his voice. I think if you watch this clip a few times, you'll notice a few things with a couple of the other guys as well, where they clearly know more than they're letting on. And yeah, it's a very interesting clip, and I'd love to hear what you noticed and what you spotted in it below. But that's it for today. Have a good week, guys. Peace and love.